Hey guys, welcome Musky Road Rules Podcast and Patreon. Guys, thanks for listening and thanks for tuning in every week to see what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be musky fishing, of course, but you never know who my guest is going to be. And also, guys, if you aren't a member of the Patreon, remember to sign up. If you sign up this month, you're going to be eligible for, boom, a haymaker bait. This is a walk the dog topwater, made by the guys up at Haymaker Lures in Wisconsin. It's going to be given away. You've got a nice, sexy shad custom color here. It's an 8-inch walk the dog topwater, all handmade, hand painted. Check it out. To sign up, it's super easy. Go to patreon.com, search Musky Road Rules, or just search Musky and it'll come up. And all you got to do is become a member. It's $8 a month, guys. It's super easy. If you like gambling, here you go. $8 and you get a chance to win one of these baits. I'm giving away something every month. Just make sure you get in on this, and I'd love to get you one of these lures. It's late May right now. We're going to be the northern range. A lot of your northern range fisheries are going to start to open. And right now, we have my guest, Mr. Todd Young, is going to be on the podcast. Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Greg. How are you, man? What's
that? Did I catch you eating something?
Yeah. I was just taking a little mint there.
What's been going on?
Hey, not much. Fishing here in PA. Just getting ready to wrap that up. I'll be heading up to Chautauqua Lake, New York, starting June 1, and that's where I do most of my fishing. I just mess around here in the springtime, April and May here in Pennsylvania. But we'll be doing hardcore. It's really always unique to me when I see guys down in Virginia, West Virginia, and they're like, yeah, water temps are getting too warm. How's your season going? I was like, my season? Chautauqua? It's not open yet.
How is, let me ask you this. How's the weather? How's the weather been this spring for you? Because, here in the South, down on Cave Run, and we have been in a drought, which is something that we hardly ever say down here. The lake is still... We got like almost an inch of rain today, which we desperately need. And I don't even know if that's going to put water in the lake because the ground is so dry right now and it's going to soak a lot of it up. We're down still about 6 inches from summer pool. Our water, since the PMTT, we've had water clarity in the main lake of close to 8 feet. So
wow,
the water is really clear, and we're dealing with that. How's it been up by you?
Well, I mean, for me, that makes me wish I would have went down and done the PMTT because I like when it's like normal levels. I've always done well, but every time I get down there and it's up, we're up 18 feet. Yeah, I didn't fare near as well.
No,
but no. I mean, we are nothing like last year. Last year we had extreme. Walking through the water to get to the dock, we had tons of rain. I mean, we've had our fair share of rain, but it has been cold. I mean, I was just fishing this week this week I fished, I fished every day. I fished Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Monday was the first day I saw a 60-degree water temp.
Oh, wow.
So you know what that means. Like it would get up to 58, then the next day you'd go and it's back down to 52. There was no stability. We didn't get near the rain that we got last year, but I mean, the spring is always the same. It's always a crapshoot to me. You guys fish a lot earlier than we do. That springtime fishing in Pennsylvania here is always a crapshoot. I never knew whether let's book them up. I'll do real good one year, and the next year is like, we're not going to do real good this year because the water temps are this. We're going to have some pre-spawn fish. We're going to have some post-spawn fish. We're going to have this. We got muddy water. We got high water. So, yeah, the temperatures were down, but now we just had a couple days of like 80-some degrees. Of course, they spiked. And the spring, it wasn't a good spring at all for me, fishing-wise, compared to all the years, but I mean, wasn't the worst, wasn't the
Mhm.
best by any means.
Yeah, we had here, I'll tell you, it's weird because during the PMT, we had water temps already hitting in the 64, 65 range.
Yeah.
And they have stayed anywhere from 64 to 67 the
Mm.
entire month since the PMTT. They have not moved. Just this week, you guys had 80s. We had 90s. It was
Yeah.
ungodly hot here
Yep.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today we got the rain. So today was like 70. It was thunderstorms all day, super muggy, really, really muggy conditions. And then tomorrow we're supposed to be down high around 70, which is going to be beautiful. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we're gonna get back to kind of normal for us, which is low 80s right now.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that kind of levels things out.
Yeah.
What everything here, like I said, with it staying the same water temperature for so long, the transitions just weren't happening. Fish were very stalled.
Yeah.
I think our fish are very scattered. We are catching fish, but man, you're having to really grind it out
Mm.
to get them. And we don't have any weeds this year, none.
Oh, that's
Um,
crazy.
from
And
the
with the lake being down, I would think it would be the opposite.
Well, I don't know if it was the flood last year lasting for so long
Hmm.
that they're just taking forever to get going. But we've got some curly leaf pondweed, and that's about it. Other than that, there's zero milfoil that I've found. And I haven't talked to
Wow.
anybody that's found milfoil.
Yeah.
And you know what this lake used to look like. We were just
Yeah.
giant weed beds everywhere.
Yep. Yep.
But that just isn't the case right now. So it's been an interesting spring. Have you noticed with the colder
Same.
temperatures? I mean, you've got some fish that have just been lagging through spawn, or
Oh,
did they
that's,
finish, or do you still have fish spawning?
I
You think?
mean, I think there's no doubt that's the way it was. You know what I mean? There's fish that spawned. I think around here we probably had fish that spawned 6 weeks ago,
Yeah,
and with it still being in the 50s up until Monday, I think we still have fish that haven't spawned yet. I really
yeah,
do.
yeah,
And that's late for Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania always used to bring their season in first Saturday in May, and we had a closed season throughout a little bit of the winter and in the spring, and that was just when they were spawning. They changed that 10 years ago, and very rarely when you started in May, occasionally you'd find a fish that was, but normally when you got a nice big one, it was a spawned out female that probably did it early. She's all recovered. Now you catch that fish. But I, I would say this year, I think it's all over the place because of the temps.
yeah. I know it is here. We caught fish in late March that were spawned out, and then we've
Already spawned
also
out.
yeah, and then we've caught fish um, last week that
Mm.
I think had just kind of recovered from it.
Yeah,
Fresh
yeah.
scars, fresh, and it's so
Yep.
that's always really weird to me because
Mm.
everybody always asks me, well, when do they spawn? To me,
Oh, yeah. I
they
get that question
spawn.
all the time.
Yeah, I mean they spawn all the time in the spring. It seems like you
Yeah,
got fish that
yeah.
I seen fish paired up, not with my eyes, but on live scope
Mm.
up in creeks. I seen them paired up the second week of March this year, and I've
Yeah.
never seen that. But I was seeing water temps already of 55, 56 degrees,
Yeah, so
and
that it should be ready to go.
they should be
Yep.
doing it. And then I seen fish, but then we had a really weird thing, and not a weird thing, but we had the 4 days of really warm followed by
Mm.
3 days of really cold. And
Yeah.
so nothing was ever, we weren't getting the solar warmth. Whatever we
Yep.
gained during the day, we lost at night. But I will say, in this clear water, when it warms, it does not cool down much at night.
Hmm.
Some of the dirty water areas I fish, like up some of the creeks and rivers that are dirtier water, they were warmer. I was up there last week, and they were warmer in April than they were last week. They had dropped like
I
four
got you. Yeah.
degrees, and it was amazing that I really hadn't seen that before, where it just took that big dive
Mm.
like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and the fish were acting like it took a big dive, meaning you'd go there one day,
Yeah.
see nothing, go back the next day, catch two, or go 2 days
Yep.
and see nothing, and then and so it
Mhm.
makes for
Mhm.
inconsistencies, and that stuff's kind of, that makes it
That
really fun.
you said the word right there. That's what this was. One of the most in 30 years now doing this in Pennsylvania. Uh, I didn't do it a whole bunch at the beginning, but I mean, it was so inconsistent.
Yeah, yeah,
Normally you might get a week of warm weather, things would pick up, and then it cooled down. But we were getting, like you're saying, 2 or 3 days of this, a day of this, 2 or 3 days of this, and it just no consistency to anything.
yeah. And I think that's what was making, pattern wise, there was not a consistent pattern. It
No,
was
no,
really,
yeah,
the try everything and
yeah.
and and
Grind it
and go
out,
up.
and I tend to fall back on this is what I've been doing all these years. We're going to grind it out. Some days it works, some
Oh
days it
yeah,
doesn't.
oh yeah. I
Every
know
once in a while, I
exactly.
get a client, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to explore today, and then
Hmm.
you know, usually those days result in nothing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
every
Oh,
once
I
in a while
get
you
it.
find something.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
Yeah.
It's always a crapshoot when you're doing that, and it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Did you guys get anything of any size this spring?
No, we did not. I mean, we got it. We got some of those. We never got a good fish this spring.
Yeah.
Uh, and I didn't fish a lot. I had a lot of stuff going on personally, so I fished about a quarter of what I usually do. But I'm gearing up for Chautauqua Lake here. I got 34 days straight booked, starting opener June 1, and yeah, I didn't do a lot in Pennsylvania because of the stuff going on with the family and stuff. Yeah.
Sure. What about this spring? How, if you could, what was like some of your better patterns, or was there lures that were working for you, or anything like
So,
that?
I mean, in the spring, we have a lake that we do a lot of casting at. We got quite a few pike. I only have one lake around here that has pike. We got quite a few pike. We saw some fish following, but those fish were following, and we got them on the same baits we always do. Everything when I'm throwing my AZ baits. We got a
Hmm.
jerk bait we got a jerk bait 6, 8, 10 inch. We got soft tails. We got a rubber bait, and we got glide bait. So that's what I throw. Uh, the old standard 8-inch Raptor Softail is what we got to fish on earlier in the season. I had a couple guys that came in that were into pike fishing. They actually brought some of their own stuff. They got a few on spoons, but we didn't get any muskies on them. But I didn't do much casting. We did a few days of casting. Most of the days I was trolling, and it was a standard baits. We got some action on the Wileys. We got some action on the Boss Shads. We got some action on the, Ziggies, Tough Shads, stuff like that. Same stuff that I'm always using every spring.
Sure. Was there any special colors this year? Any color you thought was a little
You
better
know,
for you?
I did not catch a lot. We didn't get a lot of action on the bright lures, which is really strange. A lot of times the waters are murky. We get those rains, and the fire tigers, the lemon heads. A lot of times that's where we get them on. And this year, it actually was on like the browns and natural colors.
Hmm.
We're running a spread. I usually just run 3 out each side, 6 lures, and have some brights, have some naturals. Even
Hmm.
though the water was, but we didn't have as dark a water as we have over the last couple years because we had a lot more rain before. So our water was a little clearer than normal in those baits and in the lakes, and yeah, natural colors. I mean, that's what I'll start with when I get up there. The Chautauqua, the water hopefully is going to be clear. I like those natural colors when it's like that: the browns, the golds, the darks. Uh,
Hmm. When you're saying browns, what kind of patterns are you talking there?
the like a brown perch or something like this, a brown perch.
Okay, with the
Or,
chartreuse
or
bellies, the yellow
yeah,
bellies.
chartreuse belly on this one. The mud puppy. We got one today on a mud puppy, Boss shad. I think that one has an orange belly on it, but it's still the brown. It's the dark. It has the white head, the mud puppy color that Andy started painting years ago, and a lot of people have it now.
Yeah. So that those browns and stuff what are the fish feeding on that make you think that why those are good colors for you?
I have no idea. I mean, it's a natural color. I mean, a lot of the lakes I'm fishing here in Pennsylvania are shad lakes. So, I mean, I'm always running the whites and the shads and the
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But up at Chautauqua, when we get going here, the browns, I mean, it could be the rock bass, it could be the small bass. I mean, I don't know. The walleye color has always been one of my favorite colors. That's just a
Yeah.
brown. Brown has a little white tip on the tail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and even, like in Kentucky here, if you go down to the marina, uh, loaded with bluegill. I mean, bluegill
Yeah,
are brown in the
yeah,
water.
yeah, yep.
Um, they have a brownish tint to them and all
Hmm.
that. And brown's just something I don't use a lot in Kentucky, and I don't know why. I
Yep.
probably should. In
Mhm.
the fall, $9 bass pattern is always good in the fall.
Yeah.
But that's
Hey,
usually
there's
when yeah.
one right there that we caught on $9 bass fishing with you about
25
28
years
years
ago,
ago, 25 years
28
ago.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
$9
that
bass.
was when our water temp changes, or when our watercolor changes from the weeds, because when our weeds start to die, they give
Hmm.
off chloroform or something, and our watercolor actually changes here, and the golds and the browns get good. But
Yeah.
right now we are just, and I mean, normally right now the water is clear, but I'm not used to seeing it clear all the way through like we've
Just
had.
clear. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is clear, man, and that is something that we're trying to overcome and stuff. And
Hmm.
the shad now here are just starting to ball up out in open water. It seems like you're starting to see some out there, so I'm
Yeah.
hoping that brings some fish out there and triggers them to
Hmm.
go in that. Your stuff there, when you're doing your early spring stuff, kind of explain what you're looking for and how you're attacking the fish. I mean, like water depth and structure, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, typically I'm looking for that first weed growth. If I can find any weed growth, that's great. Some of the lakes I fish, man-made reservoirs. Uh, it's tough. Like when you go in tight, when you're doing the short line, and I know you do a lot of that
Mhm.
down there. I mean, you got to keep it short, and then you also got to watch. It's almost like fishing down there at Cave Run. Like when you're trying to do that, you got to watch that. Not only do you get hung up on the line, you got to make sure you don't run into a stump with your freaking boat. You know.
Yep.
So some of my lakes, there's a couple lakes here that I just don't I can't go to get in there and do that. It's just
Yep.
I gotta wait till they break out to that 6 to 10 foot range.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I think that's what made this year a little bit more struggle to me. Normally, it was more consistent, so more of those fish would break out. Right now, we got some broken out there, but I think there's still fish in there going through like the spawn thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I really can't get in there to do it unless I go in there and pass to them. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and that's just certain lakes. I fish about 4 different lakes here in Pennsylvania, 4 or 5, and
Mm-hmm.
yep. Our
Oh,
natural lake, it's always consistent. There's always early weed growth. It's a fun lake to fish. It's got a lot of them dumb pike in it. But, when you're casting, the guys like seeing those, and, you see 4 pike to every muskie, but it's a fun lake to go to because of that. And it's the only consistent thing you got with just, it's natural. The weeds grow where they grow. I know what to do. There's not stumps down there because the lake's 20,000 years old or something. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? But these
Sure. Sure.
man-made reservoirs are totally, totally different than those natural lakes.
Sure. No, I get that. How when you're casting them, is it mainly you showed me the one bait you there is a glide bait. Do you notice any
Yeah.
difference between fish wanting gliders versus the pull paws like the Raptor style?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that early season stuff, that the glider, as long as it's not real windy and you can sit there and do it, that glide bait does outproduce the jerk baits most of the
Mm-hmm.
time early. But I'm talking in April there. I had a day there, not this season, but last season we had a day. I had a fella in from Massachusetts. I think he's from Massachusetts, and we fished, I don't know if you noticed this, Greg, too, but in the springtime, like in April, a lot of times I don't even start till like 9. I meet my guys at 9, and that's probably still too early because we had 25 fish in the boat last season in April, and 2 of them hit before noon.
Oh, yeah.
As the water warms up,
Mhm.
things get better. I had a kid from Massachusetts, and we were throwing jerk baits and this and that. It was cold in the morning. The sun came out. Things started warming up, and we started switching to glides. And then we got a couple muskies. We got a bunch of pike. We got some bass. I mean, we just had action, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It's not till after that, and I think that comes back to the water temperature. Still, I see it consistently in the 60s. I'm not real worried about getting out there real early. I just
Yeah.
never have done real well.
No, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't start early at all in the
No.
spring, and it's never, I'd rather fish later than
Yeah.
earlier. I'll
Yep.
run later in the day because you get that solar heating of the day, and it definitely
Absolutely.
seems to be a little better. Now,
Yep.
for opener up here in Chautauqua coming up,
Yes, sir.
what are you expecting there? Kind of how's your game plan for starting out?
I mean, it's they're in the same situation. The temps are up and down. I
Do you
obviously
know the
haven't been
water
up there.
temp up there? Have
So
you
there was
heard?
a buddy of mine was up there walleye fishing the other day, and he got like a 62-degree water temp, which is the same as we had around here at the time. It was just like 2 days ago, and
Hmm.
when we just started cresting 60. So we'll see. Hopefully the algae bloom isn't real bad, but most of my June last year, I think in June I fish like every day in June. I probably spent a grand total of about 40 hours trolling, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I'm spending the majority of the time casting. A lot of days we'll cast 6 hours, troll the last couple, and I most of my guys that want to, so we're going to be doing a lot of casts, and we're going to be up in that pond weed. We're going to be up in that milfoil. We're going to watch and it grows quick. You know that as it
Hmm.
comes. The season will start June 1, and I'll be fishing areas. I got waypoints in there and stuff. And some years I can't even get to that waypoint when the season starts because it's already
Okay.
filled with weeds. Other years, other years you can. We'll just follow that weed growth out, and we're going to be doing a lot of casting.
So you're talking about the weed growth and stuff early. How shallow are you starting? Or are you just looking for the weed edge?
I'm fishing over top of the stuff if I can. You know what I mean? That stuff that's okay. We're in 12 feet of water here, and the weeds are only growing up 4 feet. And then that line just follows out as the season progresses. Chautauqua was a unique lake. The southern end is shallow. The weeds only grow out to about 10 feet there. You go up in the north end, and early season, the weed growth's hardly even started yet. It's deep, deep water, clear water, but that's where you can get up in and fish over top of that stuff. And then I just bump it out as we go.
Hmm.
We throw a lot of I mean, I'll be starting. I brought this bait. We talked earlier, and you said grab a couple baits, and I'll show this bait. This is a bait. I've talked about this many times, but this bait's old. But this is an older. And people say, "What do you throw?" So there's an 8-inch Raptor. That bait, the one year first fish of the season. Young lady got a 45-inch fish on that bait in June, whatever, first day of June. And the last fish we got of the season, 290 some fish later, was on the same bait in November, and it was another like 46-incher at the other end of the lake. So I mean, just this is what we'll be throwing. It's a standard bait. Is it a big bait? No. Is it a small bait? No. What do the fish eat in my lakes? They're eating perch. They're eating Chautauqua doesn't have shad. They don't
Hmm.
have the all wives. This is what they're eating. That's not a big bait. you know, 8 inch,
Yeah.
the walleyes, we catch a ton of walleyes on that bait. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, a 28-inch walleye will eat a 8-inch perch all day
Sure.
long. So I'm sure that's what we're going to be starting with. I'll be handing people those 8-inch
Yeah.
soft tail raptors.
Yeah. And just describe the action of that bait to people, the people that aren't familiar
I
with the
mean,
Raptor.
it's it's a new. The big thing is neutrally buoyant, very easy to use. You throw it out there, you pull it a couple times, it's going to go down there. And if I'm teaching somebody how to use bait caster, if I'm, fishing with a beginner, it's still in the zone. It's not floating up, it's not sinking. When you're trying to fish over top of those weeds, it sounds really neat. You can hand them a big rubber bait. We fish those too. We make the rubber baits, but getting someone to keep that over top the weeds and keep the cadence and not letting it sink down in there. And then the next thing you know, they're just jammed up with the weeds. So fishing weeds is tricky. And the Raptor is something that I can give somebody that they can give it a couple pulls and they pause it and it's going to stay. It's going to just hover there. That's the big thing that I love about the bait. We worked on it when I started guiding. I love throwing jerk baits. That's really that's all I want to throw when I'm fishing is some type of jerk bait, and I can catch them on tons of jerk baits, the Suics, the Leo jerk baits, the Wiley jerk baits, the Bobby jerk baits. But when you're handing that to somebody that hasn't really fished that much, it's hard to get them to get the cadence that the bait isn't like a foot under the surface the whole time because they're wanting to float up. Now, I know a lot of the companies are making weights. You add weights to keep them. You can add some more weight to keep it going down. But I don't like having parts for my baits. I have enough pieces and parts in my boat to keep the thing running and keep all the gear running that I really don't want to carry a bunch of stuff. Oh, let's add some weight to this or let's do that. I know what this is going to do. You pull it a couple times, it's going to stay neutral and very easy to use bait. And I've had people of all ages and even some of my buddies have like, man, glad you come up with that bait. It's a lot easier to work than trying to just keep ripping. Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah, no,
no
I mean
pause.
the neutral buoyancy of it is what's is definitely so cool, and you can get
Yeah.
those baits down. I mean, what are you talking?
Oh, I mean, so the soft tail one does not get down. That tail on it acts a little bit like a rudder. So that
Mhm.
bait is one that I'm throwing if I'm fishing in this early season. That's why I'm throwing that a lot because it doesn't get down quite as deep. But when you talk about the 8 or the 10 without the tail, I mean, I can work that bait down 6 to 8 feet real easy and pause it there, and it's going to stay down there until I start bringing it up towards the boat.
Sure, sure. So it's getting down there just over
Yeah,
the weed cover and everything,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
right where
That's
you
one we
right
use.
where.
Yeah, and as the summer progresses, we're fishing a lot of milfoil, so that milfoil grows right to the surface. You know that. So there's times of the season that you can't fish in the milfoil. You can't even throw
No, that
top water because it lays out across the
milfoil
top.
is milfoil. That's really easy to get a bait through. Todd, did I lose you? Todd, come back. Why did you go black? Well, of course, this is what happens to me. Is that Todd actually just disappeared on me? But I'm going to work on getting him back. But we'll talk too while I'm trying to do that here. When you're talking about these baits, he's talking about fishing milfoil. Milfoil is a barrier weed, and it's Todd. You're back. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can see you. You have a lot of nose hairs. I would probably get those cut if I were you. No, can you hear me? A lot of nose hairs. Seeing a lot of nose hairs right now. Much like milfoil, Todd's nose hairs. But no, milfoil, it's a barrier weed. It's one of those weeds that is really, really, really hard to get a bait through. If you've not fished it much, it's one of those things that is a little rough, and it's something that you got to work those baits through, and it's tough to do and with a bait that you can just pop over top of it and everything, it's always good. Todd, can you hear me? I think you lost the audio here. And I think that's let me see here. Todd, you got me? Oh, of course not. And it's just one of those baits that it's or one of those weeds that it's really hard to get a bait through. And that Chautauqua area, I've fished it a lot in my day, and it's one of those things that it's a really cool lake where he's at. And I always tell guys, if you get a chance, you should go up there and see it, because you can catch fish a bunch of different ways.
I'm still on the podcast.
Yes. Hi, can you hear me?
Almost done.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Oh. But it's one of those neat lakes that you can get a fish a bunch of different ways. I mean, of course, everybody's got their own way of fishing it and their own way of doing it and all that. And it's one of those things that I think is always really unique and really really cool. Especially Todd, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you. Somebody
Todd?
called. The guy I'm taking fishing tomorrow called, and it just shut down.
That's all right. I was telling people about the milfoil and stuff, but hey, that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was telling them about how the milfoil can be so tough to fish. And how baits don't like to come through it. What do you tell guys when they get in it? I mean, you just tell them to try to rip it through, or is there any tricks?
Oh man, I mean, sometimes it gets up when it's laying across the surface. You're screwed. You just got to stay out at the edge. When it gets that thick in the middle, like after we get through June here, I mean, pretty much when we're fishing milfoil, we are on the edge. Like it'll grow on the northern end of Chautauqua out to 12, 14 feet. So most of the time when I'm casting after that, it's like the boat's sitting there. There's nothing on the screen, but I'm telling them, don't throw out the back of the boat. You got to throw straight out here, because if you throw out there, it's solid. And the guys will do it a while, and then they pitch one out the back, and it's just you can't even get a bait through that stuff.
Yeah, the big old gob. When do you transition to trolling?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'll be doing some trolling early seed. Yeah, I mean, I'll be doing some trolling in June also with the guys. I have some trips that the people aren't going to be wanting to cast, but the trolling can be done at any time of the year. Just a matter of I say I'll be casting mostly in June, and then there's days where I'll go 2 weeks. We don't even set a trolling rod, and it's kind of vice versa in July and August. Sometimes in July and August I'll go 2 weeks, and I was like, nobody's thrown a bait out of this boat for yet this month. We're just trolling. We're getting out away from that stuff, and we're just trolling because a lot of the fish are moving out there to that open water.
Sure. And when you set up for your trolling stuff, what's your first spread? What's kind of some of your first spread you're using?
I mean, when I start in June, I'll spend some time in the shallows, short line, and trying to find those areas like that I've been casting to. If I know, okay, these guys are coming, they are not going to be casting tomorrow, I'll pick those areas and I'll do some short line trolling like that. But we also get a lot of big fish out in that open water. I know, Greg, you know that. I mean, some of those post spawn fish, because it will be post spawn up there. Our first fish of the year last year was a short line trolling fish that was over 50 inches, and then the next 50 incher we got was about 2 weeks later, and I was over 42 feet of water when I got that fish. I wasn't running down that deep, but there's fish that do go out there and suspend, and I think that's the way some of the fish respond after they spawn out. They go out and suspend over those big deep holes. When I'm saying it was over 42, I've got them in June over, we have like 7 holes at Chautauqua that go down like 60, 70 feet. I don't fish out there that often, but when I do, it's usually early season, and I'm only running baits down 10 or 12 feet. But we've got some really big fish doing that out there. So it's two extremes.
Yeah.
Some of those fish were getting in 8 feet of water. Some of those big fish were getting in 8 feet of water, throwing a jerk bait. Other ones were catching trolling out over 50 feet of water and,
Mhm.
trolling 10, 12 feet down.
And what I've found, when I was doing early season Minnesota stuff, a lot of my early season stuff, it seemed like the fish really liked stop and go baits, jerk baits.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the trolling wasn't that great
Mhm.
because the fish just wanted something stop and go. They didn't want to chase anything down. And,
Yeah.
and I think that has something to do with it too. Um, and here, even in Kentucky, when we have good weeds, the trolling bite will get tough for a little bit, but you go cast and you throw basically on those same weed edges you're trolling, and you throw some type of stop and go, whether it be a rubber. I throw a lot of tubes,
Mhm.
stuff like that. It seems like they want that stop and go bait versus a constant speed, straight line lure.
Hey, to me, it's all. I think a majority. I feel you'll feel the same way, Greg. Most of the fish that we catch are not like feeding hungry fish. There are
Mm-hmm.
reaction strikes. You can get a reaction strike by trolling fast out
Mm-hmm.
there over open water or wherever you're doing it, or I mean, you can get a reaction strike out of those jerk baits. That pause, they're
Mm-hmm.
they're grabbing it, And I say this all the time: like a fish that's coming after your bait, and you're using a jerk bait or a spinner, if it's following, and you take it into the figure eight, that fish is not really hungry or feeding because he'd already had it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make him eat? Yeah, you can make him eat with a pause, with that quick turn, and that's reaction. If
Mm-hmm.
if those fish wanted that bait, they'd grab it.
Yeah.
You know as
Yeah.
well as I do, a burst of speed, 50 miles an hour. If they're hungry, they're going to eat it. Every
Sure.
freaking every freaking figure eight fish you get is not really a hungry fish. He's interested. Now, can you get him to react and bite that lure? That's musky fishing,
Sure.
in my
What
eyes.
what so talking speeds, let's talk speed here real quick.
Mhm.
I know fishing with Dale and you, and going fast is something that you guys have done a lot,
Mhm.
trolling. So in this, so going from like spring PA to Chautauqua starting out, what kind of speeds are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I never go under about 3.2 or 3.5. I've been doing that a little bit here in PA, bump it up a little, take it down a little, but I haven't picked it up to that 4.3, 4.5, 4.8. Uh, Once the summer progresses, I mean, I'm at 4.3 at least
Hmm.
the rest of the summer till fall, till
Yeah.
those water temps cool down.
Yeah.
I have found that when I'm comfortable watching those rods thump the way I want them to thump, I look at because I pay attention to that. Even I mean, I look at the speed every time I look down. I'm going like 4.3 or 4.5 in the
Yeah.
summertime. Right now,
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of today I was doing that. I was doing 3.6 or 3.8 when we got our fish today. Uh, Earlier in the season, slowing it down. Yeah, I have fought, and I've fought myself with that because when I started learning trolling with Dale and stuff. I mean, I started doing that right off the bat.
Hmm.
Sometimes we get some fish, but I definitely think that cutting that speed down to that 3.2 to 3.5, and I say that to some people, and that's as fast as they ever go
Hmm.
in the muskie community. You know,
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
five
Yeah.
is fast
Yep. Oh,
uh,
exactly.
to
Exactly.
some
And
people.
and then
Yeah.
you fish with Dale, and he gets nervous if he goes under 5 miles an hour. Um, you know, he, and that
Yeah.
he gets the
Yeah.
sweats. Do you still do any of
Yeah.
those
That's
high
covered
speeds out
water.
there?
That's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah. There's times when I'll pick it up to that 5. I don't go over 5 too much, but I mean I've caught them trolling like 7 miles an hour. There's not that many lures that'll run that fast.
mhm.
Uh, but there are some. The Wileys do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'll pick it up. Pick it up for a half hour, 45 minutes, cover some water, and the rods really go out when that happens. That line. I love the way it sounds. Like the fish we got today, even at like 3.5 or 3.6, just not the same as summer to me. Like it took some line, went out. I was like, yep, there's a fish. The guy grabs the rod. It's just not the same as when you're going 4 or 5. A
No.
lot more fun.
They're pissed off when you're going.
Then
When you're going.
yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, they're not happy about it. But well, what Todd? We'll finish up here. What is a good way if somebody wants to go fishing in Chautauqua with you? How can they get a hold of you?
Muddy Creek Fishing Guides, mcfishandguides.com. Got a website. This is my 20th year up there guiding. I've been fishing there since I was a little kid. And yeah, we still got my June, not much in June and July, but we got some fall trips still open. I don't really book that far ahead. And yeah, it's a great place to fish. Great fishery. Our numbers are down right now. I'm not doing those double-digit days like we used to do before. Not doing that very often, but there's some really nice fish. Like you got real good chance of getting a quality fish,
Sure.
meaning 45 inches plus. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the baits and the rod holders. How can somebody get a hold of you for that?
Fat AZ Musky products. There's lots of people in the musky industry are running our rod holders. I mean, we make a great product. We back everything up. Lures are the same way. You can get those. We open our website. We kind of sell off some show colors that we have special colors. But if you want to get the lures, we have the glider, the Osprey glide bait. We have all the Raptors, swim baits. Musky Tackle Online carries those. Team Rhino Outdoors carries those, and that's the easier way to get to like the standard colors. There's always a few on our website, but we don't go crazy with the website. We sell them to those guys, let them deal with it.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's great, man. That's great. And also, guys, before we quit, make sure if you're looking to maybe pick up some new stuff before your musky season starts, whether it be baits, rods, electronics, reels, check out thornbros.com. Thorn Brothers up there in Minneapolis, they got a full tackle store. Very knowledgeable when it comes to everything musky fishing, even bass fishing. They also have the fly angler if you're into fly fishing. Check it out, and super knowledgeable when it comes to electronics as well, trying to rig your boat and everything. Check those guys out at thornbros.com. Also, if you're looking for new apparel, whether it be a rain suit, I'm big on the sun shirts and stuff. Check out Gill products. As I always say, if you're like me and you're too fat to wear Sims, try Gill. They're a good company, and check them out at Gill Products. And I think you'll enjoy it. Todd, it was great talking to you, man. Had a little glitch there, but that's all right. So I'm going to end it here and hang on for a second.